Hello and welcome to my channel. For those of you who haven't been here before, my name's Colette. My channel's Inspiring Life Changes, and I'm here today to do a reading for the new moon in Pisces. This is going to be the first part of the reading, the astrology part. I usually do two parts, the astrology and the tarot part of the reading. So this is the astrology part. Welcome to those of you who have been to my channel before, so you know how I do this. Thank you very much for joining me. This new moon in Pisces, get it right, Colette, new moon in Pisces is a big event that is taking place. I'm calling it new moon in Pisces, knowing the inner divine, and the wish fulfilling moon. Because of the energy that is surrounding this moon. So being a new moon, it is always about a new start, something new being planted, planting a seed. It's a great time to make a wish, plant an intention for something to grow, and it's going to grow very rapidly with this new moon because it's right next to Jupiter, which is that expansive, emphasizing, magnifying energy. So this is a good time to plant that seed. It's a mutable moon as well, so that means that there's a lot of kind of shifting energies. Things can change easily, nothing is set in stone. Going with the flow, don't try to resist. Try and stay flexible, really, is the message of this moon as well, because it is mutable. And lastly, of course, it is taking place in the meditative, contemplative, unconditional love orientated energy of Pisces, the two fish. So very Piscean energy at this time. We have a lot of planets in Pisces at this time. A stellium of planets, but I will talk more about this as I go through the actual reading. For those of you who are interested in finding out more about your own astrological chart, there will be a link in the description box down below for you to go and check that out. But I'm just going to pull an overall spirit oracle, animal oracle card to see what the message is for us at the time of this new moon in Pisces. So what is the message for us, source, for this coming new moon energy in Pisces for the collective? For the collective, what is the message? What is the animal or the creature that is best expressing the energy and the message for this Piscean new moon? And we get Badger Spirit. Be fearless and bold, although it did come out upside down. But there's the badger looking a little bit kind of ridiculous in many ways, but it's kind of saying be yourself. That's kind of the message that I feel about this. Be fearless and bold. Don't be scared to be who you are. Be integral. Be yourself. And stand up. Badgers do have that ability to stand up and protect. They are quite fierce creatures. Number 4 in the animal world. I will say before I go on that if you hear any strange noises, which are likely to happen, it's because the kittens that have been usually quite quiet, although they have kind of been making some meowing, mewing kind of kitten noises, but now they're kind of up and running about everywhere, so there'll be other noises kind of intermingled in with the reading. So that's where those noises are coming from. I've got 4 of them, big kittens at the moment, all playing, coming up for about 6-7 weeks now. So all good fun. Okay, so Badger Spirit rejoices at your persistence and commitment to what is true for you. Whatever you seek, your tenacity and faith in your partnership with spirit is paying off, and the results will soon coalesce into form in your world. The gift of Badger Spirit is the surety that taking a risk now and being courageous, fearless and bold will yield wondrous results. That's that dreaming big kind of energy. Dream big, think big, whatever your dream is, your desire, manifest it. Think big. This is a time to harness your will and apply it consistently to the pursuit of your dreams. Know that no matter the temporary outer conditions, you will manifest your desires in divine timing and in the form that Spirit deems best for you. Badger Spirit says you have what it takes to get what you want, so assert yourself. Be fearless and be bold, shining your light as your purpose calls you into the world. New relationships are also given a green light now. That's very much kind of the energy that is at play as well, with all this kind of Venus-Mars energy that's happening right now and has been for some time. So don't be afraid to make the first move. Badger Spirit loves your brave and mighty heart. And the protection message, because it did come out in reverse, is saying when Badger Spirit comes to protect you, he reminds you that anger or aggression, argumentative behaviour and being pushy or manipulative will not result in a positive outcome, and these can be very kind of aggressive energies that we may be feeling at the moment because we have Mars and Pluto conjunct each other. So that energy is in the kind of psyche, if you like. It is in the zeitgeist of what is happening at this time. So we may also be feeling that, picking up on that and expressing it outwardly as well. But it's not going to give us a good result by doing so. So perhaps someone close to you has excess Badger energy, or perhaps that energy is pent up in you. Either way, now is the time to calm down and allow the energy to pass through you. Go for a hike or brisk walk, shake it off or dance it out so you can return to the situation determined and committed, but not so intense that you overwhelm others and yourself. The appearance of Badger Spirit also serves as a reminder if you have been relentlessly pursuing something that keeps eluding you. The message is that it's time to surrender it up to your higher power and focus on something else. Badger Spirit wants to protect you from self-will, run rampant, from being obsessed with getting what you want in the form you prefer, in timing that fits perfectly with your notions of what has to be. Remember, the world doesn't revolve around your wants. Better, more beautiful opportunities will be the result when you release some of that Badger Spirit intensity along with your need to have it your way 100%. That's really interesting because that's something else that I talk about through my reading as well. So for those of you who don't know, I write this out first. It's on my laptop, so then I read through it and I may add other extra bits as it comes through as well. So as I was saying, knowing the inner divine and the wish fulfilling moon is the title of this particular astrology. So the divine masculine sun energy conjuncts the divine feminine moon energy during the time of a new moon. The new moon is falling at the beginning of the month on the 2nd of March 2022. It is occurring in the mysterious, deeply creative, sensitive, intuitive sign of the dreamers, Pisces, the two fish that swim in opposite directions in the subconscious realm that symbolizes the very different aspects of this energy. The new moon is taking place at 12 degrees 6 minutes in the mutable 12th house, and it's happening at 17:34 hours UK time, and it will be different for other parts of the world, so look out your own time zone. If you have any planets or points at the 07 to 17 degrees section of Pisces, this new moon is going to be felt by you on an inner depth of intense feelings. Also, for any of the other mutable signs opposing Virgo at 180 degrees, as well as Gemini and Sagittarius in 90 degrees squares. So the other mutable signs of Virgo, Gemini and Sagittarius are also going to be feeling this quite strongly. Virgo, you're opposing the Pisces energy, so you're going to be feeling it going backwards and forwards. And Gemini and Sagittarius, you are in square with this energy as well, so it's going to be more of a challenging energy for you on a deeper inner level. You could find emotions coming up, erupting like the badger energy as well, so just be careful of that. So as this is a particularly powerfully accentuated new moon to plant a seed for something creative on a deeply emotional level of what we have always dreamed of. So it is worth checking out where this 12 degrees of Pisces is found in relation to the house placement, as this is where it will be directly connected to in your own personal life. For the collective, however, it will be taking place in the 12th house of what we keep hidden, even from ourselves. The unknown, the unseen, including our invisible enemies. Sorry about that. That's Mummy Cat calling her babies, and they're totally ignoring her because they're playing happily. Along with sorrow, suffering, feeling like a victim of life, or recognizing our own saviour from within. So the 12th house is all about hidden things, and it's what we also keep hidden from ourselves, what we are not so aware of in ourselves, which can have us also like that victim energy is very Piscean as well, feeling like a victim. So it's either tuning into that victim energy, or it's tuning into that saviour, our own saviour from within, saving ourselves from an inner depth of who we are. So the 12th house is also surrendering to the divine, trusting in the knowledge of the sacred and divine connection to God, the universe, the cosmos, the light source energy of all that is, ever has been, and all that is coming into being. Pisces and the 12th house are ruled by Neptune, the planet of nebulousness, confusion, of glimpses from behind the veil, the mysterious realm of the seer, the psychic, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, all words pertaining to the intuitive subconscious level of knowing. Neptune, the planet itself, is covered with a dust cloud that occults the surface of the planet, symbolic of the energy it represents, the veil between the seen and the unseen, which can also work perfectly well as a backdrop on which we can project all our deeply held and conditioned beliefs about the material reality of our individual world, just like a screenplay for our lives, a TV show, film, dream world. Neptune is also the energy of illusion, hypnosis, deception. It is the questioning of, is art imitating life, or is life imitating art? And when the illusion is shattered, it is the cognitive dissonance we experience when our perception of reality is called into question. All these Neptunian 12th house Piscean themes are being magnified by a powerful Jupiter conjunction at 14 degrees 16 minutes with both the Sun and the Moon. Jupiter is bringing in a feeling of optimistic joy, abundance, prosperity, new opportunities, being able to achieve and succeed at what we set our hopes on. At this time, we have a stellium of planets in Pisces, as Neptune is still making his way slowly through his home sign, now having reached 22 degrees 27 minutes. He too is almost conjunct the Sun and the Moon. As the Moon moves forward, she will begin to become conjunct with Neptune a couple of hours after the new moon has taken place, which will really start to stir the emotions, as she will also continue to be sextile Uranus. This is going to put a huge amount of emphasis on the drive for our freedoms, the breaking of the metaphorical chains in order to be able to creatively express ourselves from an inner depth on a level of knowing who we are, why we are here, what our life is worth, what our purpose is in being a part of this shift in conscious awareness and the new paradigm coming in. What we may ask ourselves is the role I am playing here. Am I unknowingly adding to the suffering of others by keeping myself in the dark ages, too afraid to face the truth, or am I open and receptive to the changes that are inevitable and will change the direction of my path forever? Are we brave enough individually and collectively to dare to look beyond the veil, to seek what has been hidden from us? Jupiter is saying yes and pushing us to go beyond the boundaries, to seek more wisdom, knowledge and understanding. Only the boundaries we need to break through to help liberate us come from within us. It is the fear of the unknown and the vast, fathomless, eternal depths of knowing ourselves and how magnificent we are that holds us back. A few hours later, the moon will become exact conjunct Jupiter at 14 degrees 19 as she also moves closer to Neptune. All this Piscean energy will become stronger and more intense within us. As the moon moves so quickly, she will become conjunct Neptune exact and pass across him on the 3rd of March. On the same day, the sun will begin to conjunct Neptune too, which is going to set fire to and increase our sensitivity, empathy and intuition. Added to this is the intensely charged sextile with the radical, maverick, earth-shaking, shocking and electrifying great awakening energy of Uranus. Once again, the planet of sudden unexpected change is strongly activated during this specific moon phase, having become sextile with the sun on the 23rd of February. They will then become exact on the day of the new moon, 10 hours previously before the moon joins them, which will be strongly charging up the desire to create something new in a profoundly exhilarating and yet at the same time spiritually open, connected way. There is a healing energy contained within this new moon as we step outside the bounds of the physical reality we perceive around us and dive deeper into the interconnectedness, selfless connection with Source and unconditional love within us. In the tarot, this corresponds to the card known as the Hangman, which is the lesson of surrendering, letting go, releasing the past, the problem, the situation, whatever it is we hold on to. She, he hangs upside down in order to achieve a different perspective of reality. And in doing so is also leaving behind any attachment to the outcome, allowing the divine to work through us rather than the ego clinging to what we believe is right for us, which is kind of what the Badger energy was saying as well, all in divine timing. It's like we want something, we want it now, but that doesn't mean that it's ready for us to receive it even. So we have to give things time and to let go of the outcome. So for this reason, there is also an element of needing to sacrifice our immediate gains and short-term satisfaction willingly, or learn the lesson of the Hangman, the harder and more difficult way. When we relinquish the ego's need to control the situation, we are allowing space for the new to take form, which is where we may have difficulty, as the human race does not enjoy hanging in limbo and not knowing what is happening within our lives. The reward of this related to this tarot card is a moment of illumination, enlightenment and clarity, when we see things for exactly what they are and not what we believed them to be. The image of the Hangman has a lot to do with the Nordic god known as Odin, who according to Nordic myth hung upside down for 9 days and nights before receiving the language now known as the runes, which was Odin's moment of becoming one with the eternal. On the 5th of March, the Sun will move into a direct conjunction with Jupiter at 14 degrees 58 or 15 degrees, which is once again going to activate all those profound emotions we felt during the new moon. Only now we are more likely to want to take action on it. Perhaps feeling the need to creatively express those emotions through selfless acts of compassion and unconditional love. At the same time we have all this beautiful and profound spiritual energy, we are also experiencing a very strong conjunction with a restrictive, controlling, limiting planet Saturn, who has just come off of an exact connection with Mercury about an hour before this new moon at 18 degrees 59 minutes in Aquarius. So there's a lot of activity happening around this new moon as well, things that are happening at like a few hours before the new moon comes together. So there's a lot of very kind of shifting energies. It's like that mutable energy. It's like things changing very quickly. Something else comes in as something else goes out kind of energy. So it is that flexibility, being flexible enough to kind of go with what's happening, because things are shifting quite quickly during this run up to this new moon as well as after this new moon as well. And they're going to shift a lot quicker. Everything's going to start to really speed up over these next coming months. So during the new moon itself, Mercury will still be in a very tight conjunction with Saturn at 19 degrees and 3 minutes, as Mercury will only just have moved forward 4 minutes, literally. So it is really still a really tight conjunction that's happening here. This is an energy of communication, information and data, all Mercury, being censored, controlled, restricted by the establishment, which is very much that Saturn energy. In Aquarius, this is going to affect us, the populace, the people, through this Piscean energy of trying to hide, obscure and even deny what's true. That is another side of the Piscean energy, is that deception, illusion, not giving the true story about something. And we are seeing a lot of this happening at this time. Of course, the media spin their own agenda or their own side of how they want things to be seen or understood, and really you need to go deeper. And that's another message of the Piscean energy as well, is to go deeper down into something, to really kind of into that subterranean level, if you like, of like the ocean, deeper, 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 keep diving down until you get to what is the kind of root core or the truth of something here, especially with this Jupiter energy connecting with all of this as well. So it's kind of saying, if you just stay on the surface, if you just skim the surface of something, then that's all you're going to get. You're just going to get surface level. But if you're prepared to go deeper down and really dive into something, then you're much more likely to find like hidden sides of things. And I'm getting the word treasure. The hidden treasure is what's being kind of put through here. The hidden treasure, which in some ways can be information and data and kind of the reality of how it truly is. So with the planet of truth, justice and liberation, which is all Jupiter energy, also playing such a major part in this new moon, as is Uranus, the planet of great awakenings, this may turn out to be much more difficult for those intent on doing so. So for those who are intent on keeping things hidden, this could be a time where they're going to find it quite difficult to actually achieve their goal. And things could even backfire on them completely while they're trying to do this. So in light of everything taking place on the world stage right now, we also need to focus our attention on the higher frequency level of the source of unconditional love. Not to allow the lower vibrational fear tactic, which they have been mastering for many years in order to subjugate, control and divide us, to take over and have us believing we are in the throes of a kinetic war to end all wars. This war is taking place on a much more hidden, deceptive and sophisticated level of cyber attacks and mass blackouts, which we will probably hear about a lot more over these coming days, possibly coming weeks. But I will just add here that all this talk about nuclear war taking place over the country that they're all fighting over, which begins with the U, and I don't particularly want to mention because of the bots and things on this channel, or on this platform should I say, but it's highly unlikely that it will happen, because that country is such a productive country. It is like the wheat basket. It supplies so much of our wheat in the Western world that for something like a nuclear hit on that country, it's like it would just destroy the land. And it's really the land that is important here. We're talking about the land of being of consequence. So everybody involved in this situation knows this. They all know how important that part of Europe actually is. And there's a lot of history about that as well. So if you actually want to find out more about that, dig into the history of that particular country, which begins with the U, because there's a lot of horrendous history that is yet to be kind of recognised from that part of the world. So at the time of this new moon in Pisces, we have a lot of concentrated conjunct energy, as when we look towards Capricorn, the sign ruled by Saturn, we find another stellium of planets, with Venus at 26 degrees 59 minutes or 27 degrees, Mars at 27 degrees 21 and Pluto at 27 degrees 49. We still find the asteroid Vesta or Hestia, the eternal flame of heart, hearth and home, conjunct this trio at 26 degrees 5 minutes as well. So this conjunction is also helping to stir the flames of passion and beat the drums of war, as Mars and Pluto together are a lot of power, force and raw warlike energy. Very masculine energy, very dynamic, very action orientated energy. And Mars is the god of war. He always has been the god of war. That's what he does. So when he and Pluto come together, it's kind of, that energy is magnified in that sense, because Mars activates everything. So he's activating that kind of tyrannical Pluto energy at the same time as well, the power struggles. So Venus, apart from being the planet of love and beauty, also has a protective quality about her. And here we see her protecting what she values within the structural traditional view of responsibilities and commitments. So Capricorn, which is Capricorn, that's that Capricorn energy of responsibility and commitments. I need to kind of like, I'm committed to this, this is my responsibility. And when you're in a position of leadership, then that kind of like can, at this time, especially with all this energy being kind of magnified or activated in particular in this Capricorn. And also, of course, we've just had this Pluto return happening at 27 degrees as well, 33 minutes. So that has also activated the US natal chart as well. So we're kind of seeing all of that kind of coming to light and being played out on some level here. But yeah, Capricorn, Venus is also about what we love and what we hold dear, and that can also include countries as well. That can include our birth country, where we were born, the history around it, all of those things. So you have to look at all aspects of what is taking place rather than just kind of jump into conclusions at this time about why this seems to be happening as well. So Venus has literally just come out of shadow in the early hours of the 2nd of March. Again, another energy that has shifted just before this new moon. So she's now in new territory and expressing her warrioress energy, which is being squared by Eris, who is the Eris at 23 degrees and 54 minutes, or 24 degrees, is the feisty and discordant energy. She's the sister of Mars, and in Greek mythology the two of them used to go out into the battlefield, and Eris in particular loved to cause those moments to happen as well. She's very much that kind of feisty, like literally discordant energy. She doesn't like harmony. She wants things to kind of be disharmonious, to be unsettled, and to, although there's a lot of astrologers who talk about her more as this kind of feisty street fighting kind of energy, which she also is, but she also can be the instigator of a lot of this as well. So not only does she kind of join in, shall we say, she also kind of brings that energy out first of all and then carries it on. So she's also squaring to Mars, and she's squaring to Pluto as well, and this has been going on for quite a few years now. And this is also going to be, she's also challenging that kind of tyrannical energy of Pluto, the lord of destruction and creation, Pluto. So that transformational evolutionary energy, which sometimes you have to have kind of something major take place before people kind of sit up and take notice and actually see there's a problem, because most people kind of have their heads in the sand and kind of just want to get on with their lives, which is fair enough, but you can't ignore the bigger world stage all the time, because we're all a part of it. And what is going to affect America, especially over these coming 2-3 years, is also going to be seen completely played out on the world stage as well. So at this time we really need to kind of focus our attention on that kind of peace and harmony, and kind of like not allow ourselves to get drawn into that negative message that is really kind of being pumped out there constantly. So all of this energy in Capricorn is making some interesting connections over to the Venus ruled sign of Taurus in a trine with the karmic node at 26 degrees and 18 minutes. So as a collective, this is where we are heading, back into the Garden of Eden, or the Garden of Delights, really. She is the kind of Venus, the goddess of beauty and abundance, and in the tarot she is depicted as the Empress, the all-giving, like permanently pregnant with potential. And resources, of course. So as we learn once again to take care of the earth and honour her in sacred devotion, which is really what this North Node is trying to help us to understand, is our basic connection with this Earth energy. Everything we have, everything we are, comes from the Earth itself. There's nothing else but the Earth itself in physical, material, reality form of. And this is going to really kind of be highlighted, especially as Neptune is also in sextile with this moon's node as well. So we have Neptune, the planet of kind of mystery and spirituality and deeper connections, connecting also with this North Node in Taurus. And she will continue to be so until the first week of June. So this is a long ongoing connection that is taking place at this time. And it's also a time when we're going to see a lot of change as well, of course, because Uranus is also there as well. So this will also include the Neptune-Jupiter conjunction in April at 23 degrees. So while she's sextile the North Node in Taurus, she's also going to have this conjunction with Jupiter in Pisces, which is really going to highlight again all of that energy, all of that kind of devotion to the Earth and how important it is, because we have been kind of like taking advantage of it in many ways, for want of a better expression. We've kind of ignored it as being relevant or important. For me, it's kind of become like a giant supermarket. You just go in and you just grab what you need, and there's no connection to where it's come from or its creative force, its creative energy that was once part of its life-giving force, if you like. So, and I think that's another thing that we need to start realizing as well, is that the Earth is a creative, life-giving force all of its own, which is also going to affect the way that we look at our food, our health, all those kind of subjects as well will come up, I believe, over these coming months. So, yeah, it's going to be a very tight sextile as well, because Neptune and Jupiter are going to be at like 24 degrees, and the North Node is also going to be at 24 degrees. So there is going to be this really strong connection still taking place at that time. Meanwhile, the South Node of our past, the karmic debts and entanglements that no longer serve us, is in the sign of secrecy, obsession, death, sex, taboos, big money, taxes, other people's money, corruption, power, revenge, scandals, toxins, poisons and nuclear capabilities are all ruled by Pluto and Scorpio, the sign with a sting in its tail. Scorpio was originally ruled by Mars before Pluto was discovered, and the trio in Capricorn, Venus, Mars and Pluto plus Vesta, are all sextile the South Node energy at this time of the new moon. So there is a completion happening here, there is an ending happening here, there is a kind of awareness that things have to be released. There is no going back to how things have been previously. Also, there could be a lot of scandals taking place that are going to come out into the open. This South Node energy in Scorpio is going to reveal a lot to us over these coming weeks and months as well. Because, of course, while Neptune is sextile the North Node, it is also trine to the South Node as well. And Neptune is about revelation, taking that veil away so that you can actually see what's been going on behind the screen, so to speak. So they're all, yeah, they're all sextile the South Node energy at this time of the new moon, which is adding an extra emphasis to this scorpionic vibration, which is also about metamorphic and evolutionary change. And sometimes for that to happen, like I was saying, you know, we're dealing with a malefic planet. Pluto is a malefic planet. He always works through adversity. So there is that energy here as well, of the adverse side of something. And as I was saying earlier, sometimes it needs that kind of energy to wake people up, to shock them out of their kind of daydreaming stupor. Although at the time with this Piscean energy, it is a good time to be daydreaming. It is a good time to be meditating and kind of like tuning into the greater source of all, but to still be aware. So adding to this trine from Neptune, well, adding to this is that trine from Neptune. So this is also going to continue until early June as well, during which time many things around these scorpionic themes could very well be revealed. As at the time of the great Neptune-Jupiter conjunction as well, which is very interesting because everybody's talking about this. It's probably the biggest event that's happening astrologically this year, apart from the Pluto return, but this is something that is kind of collectively happening in April. But they are both going to be square Black Moon Lilith at the time that that takes place. Black Moon Lilith is also at 29 degrees 44 minutes, and she's also going to be in a quincunx or in conjunct with Pluto, who is just preparing to station retrograde at that time as well. I think he does that on the 29th of April, and Jupiter and Neptune are coming together on the 12th of April, so he's kind of slowing right down, so his energy is going to be magnified even more. And Black Moon Lilith is also very kind of dark, taboo energy as well. I've spoken quite a bit about Black Moon Lilith in previous videos that I've done. She is, for me, she's kind of like the female version of Pluto, that dark, mysterious, raw female energy. And so when she's in this kind of in conjunct or quincunx with Pluto, their energy is really kind of scraping off each other, because she's in an air sign, he's in an earth sign, so there's no compatibility here at all. There's nothing to kind of find some connecting energies with. There's nothing that connects. It is completely I suppose disconnected in that sense. You know, it's kind of like there's nothing that goes together. They can't find any common ground in that sense. So that is going to kind of bring this energy even more into our conscious awareness as well. And I really feel quite strongly that this could be the time for exposure of that kind of dark underbelly of the elite and the establishment, which we've been talking about for so long, because it is coming, and it has been coming, and it has been coming out in dribs and drabs, and things that have been happening kind of in the background, and things that have been kind of brought more into our awareness, things like the Epstein case and the Ghislaine Maxwell case. All of that kind of energy is this Black Moon Lilith and Pluto energy, like the taboo subjects, the line that you don't cross kind of subjects, the things that other people would consider not normal behaviour, those kind of subjects. And with Neptune and Jupiter together, it's going to kind of really highlight all of that energy as well. So again, you know, shock can be enlightening as much as we don't want to see that truth or hear that truth. It doesn't mean that it's not there. And of course, Jupiter is the planet, like I was saying, with justice, law, freedom, liberation. And you know, we need to find that liberation from that dark underbelly that has taken control for so long. So on the 6th of March, Venus and Mars, hand in hand, are going to leave behind the sign of the heavier and denser sign of the earthy goat and cross the threshold into the 0°00' sign of the air-ruled Aquarius. This is significant as it will once again highlight that exact 0° point where Saturn and Jupiter came together on winter solstice, the 21st of December 2020, and they came together at 0°28', but that 0° point is going to be once again activated because it is Mars, and Mars is an activating energy, so it's going to again bring all of that kind of changing, shifting paradigm energy into our paradigm. Literally, that paradigm energy, it's going to kind of add to that changing paradigm that we're already in. And this is a huge shift in the energy as we are also coming out of those 2-year cycles of the earth element being where Saturn and Jupiter meet, and they meet every 20 years, so that isn't a huge deal, but the fact that they work in like 200-year cycles, so what that means is that their energy is going to shift into the air element when they come together, and Jupiter and Saturn kind of create the new paradigm, the new feeling of what is coming in on an elemental level as well. So we're shifting out of that kind of heavier, denser earth energy, and we're shifting into this more lighter, kind of more open, connected, Aquarius, galactic even kind of awareness of some higher consciousness. And Venus and Mars are going to help to activate that energy, which is going to give us a completely new understanding of our physical reality as we go deeper as well into the world of quantum physics, because this is going to be about vibration and frequency, and what we feel is going to become much more relevant in our lives than it has been. The emotions are going to be very much more important, because how we feel is how we magnify or what we give out on a vibrational frequency level, and what we give out is what we're going to receive back. It's always been that way, but it's like now we're kind of going to become more focused in that area of our life and kind of realize that that's what's happening. So the frequency and vibration is going to be opening the door further to bring in that Aquarian age as well. The two lovers in Aquarius are going to continue this embrace throughout the whole of March, while Venus leading the way. So Venus is going to cross over Mars also on the 6th of March as well, at which time the feminine energy will be continually activated as Mars is following behind, and Mars activates things. So every time, and they're literally just like degrees, not even degrees apart, like minutes apart. So every time Venus moves that little bit more forward, Mars is going to follow on behind and activate that energy. And this is going to kind of really bring in that feminine force, if you like, the feminine side, the more gentler, more kind of in touch. Again, that Venus energy is being activated through the Taurus North Node as well. And as I've said before in previous videos, in 2022 we are in a 6th year, which is that Venus energy as well. It is that energy of our values, what we own, what we possess, why we value what we own and possess, and priorities as well over what we value, what's important to us, Venus also rules all the senses. It is very much body energy. And all of this is going to become much more higher vibrational during this time. So for the next month, this energy is also going to help us to manifest real and authentic relationships of all kinds, whether they are intimate friendships or working together to build something new of true compatibility. And this is going to come from a higher energetic space as well, because it's in Aquarius. It's going to be bringing in kind of new and innovative ideas that have yet to be kind of expressed. It is part of that big change, but it's also part of kind of finding a tribe and the communities and bringing things back to the grassroots level, rather than having that kind of huge monopolies of kind of corporations owning countries and people, and all of that kind of tiered pyramid, shall we say, kind of power at the top and kind of everybody else underneath it. All of that is shifting and changing. So the power is going to be returned back to the people, especially when Pluto moves into Aquarius as well, which will be happening in about 2024. Although he does shift into Aquarius in 2023, I believe, but then he reverses or retrogrades back into Capricorn for a wee while. So this is a time of connection with others and attracting those who are on the same wavelength to help move this Aquarian era forward into our new reality, from a place of respect for each other's unique abilities, of what we each bring to the dynamic being created. So I spoke briefly earlier about the concentration of energies at the time of the new moon in Pisces, which in the chart are coming through from Capricorn to Pisces. And so from Capricorn to Pisces we have 9 of the 10 planets all sitting there at this time. Of course the moon moves quickest out of all of them, so she will be shifting out of that that trio of energies quicker than the rest of them. The only other planet that we have outside of this Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces energy is Uranus. So Uranus is also going to be affected by all of this energy as it moves forward as well. So it's going to be creating some very interesting dynamics with the planets. Uranus, of course, is that great awakener and shaker, and he's going to continue kind of being highlighted as he connects through both square energy, which will be taking place with Mars and Venus as they move forward as well in in Aquarius. And I don't know where these words suddenly come into my head. I don't know why that Aries. So anyway, he's also going to be making sextiles as well from the Piscean energy still as well. And of course, Mars and Venus will also move into and through Pisces as well, and will again be connecting with that Uranus energy. So the Uranus energy is playing a huge part over these coming weeks and months, and right through really beyond that, because he's also going to be being conjuncted by all these planets as they move forward into Taurus and etc. So another interesting aspect to bring attention to is the Pisces Virgo axis, which is known as the health axis. And during this new moon, both the sun and moon in Pisces are activating this axis as they are opposing the ascendant and the part of fortune. So the ascendant at the time of this new moon just happens to be at 10 degrees in Virgo. So that axis is definitely being kind of very much highlighted, which hopefully is going to help us kind of move beyond the energy that we've all had for the last 2 years and kind of clear the way, clear things out. But of course we are also going to have the full moon in Virgo take place as well. The next moon that we have will be the full moon in Virgo while the sun is still in Pisces. So I would also just like to quickly bring to your attention a newly discovered asteroid known as a Trans-Neptunian Object, or TNO for short, whose orbit is out beyond that of Neptune. So basically it's at a great distance, huge distance. And this asteroid was found on the 20th of August 2021. It was retrograde at 18 degrees 14 minutes of Pisces. It has an orbit of roughly 294 years, which is why at this new moon it is still to be found at 18 degrees 16 of the fish. So it's literally kind of only moved, it hasn't even got back to its, to the, oh it has, it's literally gone 2 degrees past where it was found, because it was found at 14 minutes and it's now at 16 minutes, 18 degrees of both. So this asteroid has been named after the Iroquois creation myth, and his name is Teharanawako. I hope I've pronounced that right. It's not an easy name to pronounce. Teharanawako, who was the son of the granddaughter of Sky Woman, the mother goddess who descended to Earth in Native American mythology. When he grew up, Teharanawako became a farmer and a protector of the land, and he's known as the god of maize as well, which is interesting because there's a lot around this whole food situation at this time as well. So it's interesting that he should be highlighted at this time, right in between Jupiter at 14 degrees and this new moon energy at 12 degrees. Sorry, Jupiter and the Neptune energy, but he's also being connected to by the new moon energy as well, or he will be as they move forward. So so he's really kind of playing a part here of kind of highlighting this whole food issue that we have at this time, and we are going to have like this food issue. I mean, we've been talking about this for a while as well with the Ceres energy. Ceres at the moment is in Gemini as well, and she was also kind of crossed over by Black Moon Lilith, and Black Moon Lilith is just that kind of dark, destructive kind of energy. She's not very how do you put it? She's not very nurturing or very kind of productive in her own energy, but she uses others' energy. She's a bit vampiric in that sense as well. So it was also said that he was responsible for the creation of 4 different beings that he formed from the bark of a tree, the foam of the ocean, the black soil, and lastly the red clay. Being so newly discovered, we are still finding out about his traits and the themes he is connected with, but it is said that he is of a life-giving nature with great compassion to those of a devoted, sincere and devout nature. He also has a great regard for the animal kingdom. He is of a high mind, being so far out in the cosmos that he will be expressing through that 5D energetic frequency of pure conscience, integrity and ethics. He is also connected to the weather, particularly blizzards, windstorms, along with anything to do with the breath, breathing and resuscitation. So I decided I was going to go and have a look and see where he was during the time. That for those of you who have been following me know that I really believe that all of this kicked off, this whole health crisis thing kicked off just after Black Moon Lilith and Neptune became conjunct on the 1st of October in 2019. And they became exact at that day, on that date, at that time, at 16 degrees and 45 minutes. So I went to look up this newly discovered asteroid, Terra Hanawako, to see where he was. And he just so happened to be at 15 degrees and 3 minutes of Pisces. So he really was kind of still there playing a part in that energy, that Black Moon Lilith, Neptune deception, confusion kind of energy there. Also Neptune rules things like plagues, disease, illness, being that health ratio with Virgo, or axis should I say. Also the unknown, like Pisces has no boundaries either, so things spread easily with that kind of Piscean energy. So yeah, he was playing quite a strong role there as well. And all three of those were sextile Pluto, kind of the lord of the underworld, death, rebirth, transformational, evolutionary, transformational energy. Again, malefic always works in adverse ways. So those who have gone deeper into this health crisis, you will probably understand the tyrannical aspect of all of this, along with the order that was given out at this particular time, especially within nursing homes across the country, and not just this country but kind of around the world. It was kind of the theme, shall we say, against certain more vulnerable demographics, parts of population. So Pisces rules the aged and vulnerable as well, so that's another interesting aspect there. So this also added to the deception of this pandemic. And in dealing with the Black Moon Lilith, Terra Hanawako would have been emanating at the time from a lower vibrational energy, which is, in this case, being eager to punish others, which is very interesting after everything we've witnessed at that time as well. So at 18 degrees of Pisces, Terra Hanawako is still activating that same area. And now that Jupiter is at 14 degrees, he too is adding an extra expansion, as the planet of truth, justice, and the written word of the law. Maybe now will be the time to see some judgment being handed down to those responsible for playing their part. But I really kind of feel that this is going to be connected to this Neptune Jupiter conjunction that is taking place. Yes, it's going to be a beautiful spiritual experience at the same time, but there is also this square energy with Black Moon Lilith and other connections that are taking place here as well. So it does feel like there is this kind of revealing, revelationary energy of, as I was saying, that kind of darker underbelly, and much more, much more. So the Sabian symbol for the 12-degree point of Pisces is an examination of initiates in the sanctuary of an occult brotherhood. Very interesting, I thought, after all of that. So this symbol shows passing the tests that life, other people, spirituality, or karma throws at you. You are likely to find at times that you are being judged by those above or around you. It is difficult to see what their qualifications to judge you are, but this is often the nature of progression through the ranks. People being critical of one another can lead to better behaviour, better performances or the like, or it can lead to feeling judged, violated and intruded upon. It can seem as though our lives are like lessons. We are periodically examined to see how we are doing on our course, but be careful not to shut yourself away to avoid being seen or having to endure criticism. And of course that is that Virgo energy as well, and the ascendant at this time is in Virgo, and Virgo is very picky, very kind of, can be very critical, very analytical, very particular. Details are very important to Virgo, so that's all that kind of energy that is being literally with this Virgo new moon axis coming out here. So the ordeal that comes with the higher realms of being, tests and trials, the inquisition, examinations, cross-examinations, proving courage and purity, being a candidate, all of this comes under the 12th degree point of Pisces. And the more kind of negative side of this is refusing advice, arrogance, people saying I told you so, invading others' space, which is very interesting considering what's happening at this time, people assuming they know the truth about someone, failing, scandals and stories. So that's what I have for you on those lines for the astrology of this new moon in Pisces. It is a good time to meditate, as I was saying earlier, a good time to connect with the inner energy. And I'm just going to pull a card here from the crystal divas to see which crystal in particular is resonating with us at the time of this new moon. So a card for this Pisces new moon energy, please, source. Which is the crystal that we are resonating, the vibrational frequency that is best suited to us at this time, and the message that it wants to tell us. Sorry about that, I'm going to dive over there because that flew across here. It is card number 26. It is Malachite and it is Evolution. Very interesting energy. Malachite. I think Malachite is an actual what they call meteorite. Does it not come from a meteorite, malachite? Or am I thinking of something else? So it's related to the heart chakra and its colour is green. So it says the great creator intends that you be an active participant in the creation of your destiny. This is the purpose behind free will. Free will is not intended to leave you stranded without guidance to make life's decisions. It is not an abandonment, it is a blessing that makes you a co-creator. It's not malachite, no, I'm thinking of something else. Moldavite I'm thinking of, sorry about that. So yeah, just popped into my head. It is blessing that makes you a co-creator of the universal order. Choosing your course in life wisely will impact the whole in a positive way. None of us is isolated. Every thought, word or deed affects everything else. That's very Piscean energy as well. Free will also allows you the choice of acting or not acting. There are times when you feel you have neither the emotional reserve or physical strength to make major changes. Sometimes doing nothing is the best decision. Non-action is an action of its own. Other times, even though you would like to put off the inevitable, something within your soul gnaws at you, a feeling of unrest or agitation. You can feel that larger purpose So you can feel that. It says that, but you can feel that a larger purpose is at work. You know in your heart that, reluctant or not, this is your time. Moving forward is what your soul has chosen now. Courage is a prerequisite for growth, but if you do not feel particularly brave at this moment, do not worry. Your higher self senses within you when you have the strength to accomplish your goals. In addition, you are not alone. Helpers and guides in the physical and non-physical realms support you. Often, before you can move forward, it is necessary to do some internal excavation. Are you holding on to any old belief systems that could hold you back? Again, that kind of hangman energy, Piscean energy, letting things go, going deeper into something. So like a bulldozer moving earth for new construction, we help you push through any barriers that are blocking your evolution, that inhibit movement and change. We make room for and stimulate new growth. Our deep green whirlpools spiral within to unearth stagnation and blockage. If you have chosen our card today, it is because you have made a commitment to uncover the obstacles in your life and make the necessary changes to grow. Even though you consciously want to change, some part of you may be resistant to letting go of old paradigms. So we were talking about the new paradigms coming in. We will help you penetrate through layers of resistance so that you can bring any problem areas to the surface. Again, that very Piscean energy, you're going within to find the depths, the hidden depths of the situation. Our green healing energy comes directly from the heart chakra to comfort and support you as you look at your issues and work through them. Whether you are facing small changes or life-shaking ones, when they are over, you will not be the same person that you were at the onset. And although it may not appear to be the case, you are always the one initiating the process of change. Yes, even if you were fired from your job, jilted by your lover, or had an accident, your higher self set these emotional earthquakes in motion for your growth. To truly evolve, there must be a balance of growth and integration. You make changes and then need a time of rest to assimilate and incorporate what you have learned. It is part of the great cyclical nature of the universe, activity and inactivity, expansion and contraction. During your time of growth, take time to rest and regenerate. While absorbing your new life experiences, life is balance. Move away from the intensity of this work to lighter leisure activities. This equilibrium will help you integrate the new person you have worked so hard to become. Congratulations, friend. Our blessings are with you. And that really kind of sums up where we are at, I feel, as well. These kind of past years of action, non-action, evolutionary growth, going within, clearing things out for those that have done that kind of work that's needed to be done. Moving now more towards the changes, things that are shifting within us. So I'm going to leave that there and say thank you very much for coming over and listening to my reading. I hope that it has been of some help to you, some benefit, or that you've just enjoyed listening to it and taken something away from it. If you have, could you please thumbs it up for me, give me a like, because it does help my channel. It helps the platform here to actually know that people are watching my videos, are interested in what I have to say, and so therefore it's more likely to kind of get picked up. So also, if you haven't already subscribed, could you please do that as well, please? There is a subscription button on the video itself, so just hit that. That little bell will come out and you can decide whether or not you want to tap that, and also get my videos as and when I put them out there. I do the new moon, full moons. As I said, I do both the astrology and the tarot part, so I will be doing that part as well, and putting the tarot reading out after this one has gone out. Also comment if you want to leave me a comment about anything. That would be really nice, just to get some feedback from people and know how they feel about what I have to say, the messages that I'm putting out there at this time. And apart from that, just enjoy this new moon and connection and kind of spiritual awakening that is taking place at this time within all of us, and this huge kind of evolutionary leap that we are all experiencing at this time as well, even if we're not really kind of aware that that is what's taking place, because there's so much chaos out there. But that's all part of the growth and the evolutionary move into something completely different to what we've been used to for so long. So once again, thank you very much, and please take really good care of yourselves, and anybody else that you can that's around you at this time, take care of them too, and hopefully I will see you again soon.